Hey everyone, it's been a while since I've done a crocheted critter. I've been still crocheting, but lately I've been working on some that are already somebody else's patterns. And I was like, I feel like creating something that's my own pattern. I do like the idea of making things like, anime stuff and little characters and stuff, but I always worry about the whole copyright laws and stuff, and I will one day still probably make some stuff based off of that. But for now, I want to see what crazy creators I come up with from these guys. So, we'll start with this one. This one is the color it's going to be. It is going to be, see all these little, mix it up, and don't look. And it is going to be Neon Rainbow. Fans on, so it's blowing the paper. I'll just stick that there. Okay, now this one. This one is theme or adjectives. Shape it up. And we got superhero. So a neon rainbow superhero. And let's see, what is it? Type of animal. This is animal or thing. My husband and the kids helped me come up with all the words that are in the boxes. Alright, and it is a fridge. A neon rainbow superhero fridge. Oh, that's going to be a fun one to try out. Now, I'm going to get, I have a book like this that it was my husband's and I stole it from him, where I write down like critters, I put the words, I put the yarns that I used, but it's getting pretty full now. So, I picked this up. It's, I just found it at the local dollar store. It's a nice, beautiful little sketch pad. So I think I'm going to start doing them in this part. So let me get these boxes out of the way and set up, and I'll probably go do a few chores so I can think about what kind of fridge superhero that's rainbow neon that I want to make. Okay, so I've got my book. I found these yarns. These ones are definitely neon, and I'd say this is kind of like a neon rainbow. I also found this one, but it's not really neon. Yes, rainbow, but not doing the neon for me. So,
this is more neon.
The green, yeah. So, I'm gonna try probably using these as my main base colors. So, let's see what I can draw and come up with. I have a few ideas. Basically a fridge. I'm gonna add some superhero details to it. I have to decide, do I want the fridge to open or not? Opening the fridge could add a lot more details, but the problem is...
I think opening up the fridge is cool too.
But the only thing is, with opening the fridge, is not going to be structurally as strong. Unless I, put cardboard or something in it. So, something to think about. Maybe I'll draw two different ideas and see which ones I like the most. So there's this idea where it's a fridge, he's got his mask, he's got his cape, he's got broccoli and a carrot, fighting for justice and eating all the good stuff. Now, I like this basics. Now, if he did open, that would be more complicated. Would he open in two separate spots? And then I'd have to use something to close it. Could use Velcro, but he'd need shelves inside him. So yeah, this is what it comes down to. I like the look of this a lot for the outside. I still don't know if I should make it that he can open up or not. It'd be very cool, but of a lot more work. And if he's something I'm going to sell, it's going to make him a lot more expensive for people to buy, which, you know, I try to make my stuff at a reasonable price, so I don't want it to be too outlandish price-wise. Usually my critters are like the base character, and then I add accessory or two, like for example, here we had the bamboo, he had a camera and a little satchel, the TV had a plunger and a wrench, my little pea guy, he had a little bag with peas. Like they all have like 1 or 2 accessories, but not like a crazy amount, because that really would take up a lot more time. But it's still something I hesitate about, because the idea of it opening is so cool. But I think for now, I'm going to start with just making him that he's closed. But I'm definitely going to keep this one in the back burner, because maybe someday I would come back to it. And if I did do it like this, I think I would want to make it a lot bigger, because my current ones are usually only about like this big. But if I was making one that opens, I'd want to make it like, you know, maybe even 20 inches or something, so that you could be more detailed on the food inside it. So I think for today I'm going to just make him a non-opening one. Now, the next big choice is the colors. Should I do his body, this fun one, and then do his accessories with these other neon ones? Like this is his body. I'd say the green is his cape and maybe the orange is mask, or the green his cape and his mask, and then fit the orange in somewhere else. Or should he be all neon green with the rainbowy accessories? So many choices when you're making it yourself, which is so much fun about when you do stuff like this. Even if you're following a pattern, you never have to do the colors they say. You can have so much fun with it. So I'm going to debate about the colors and get my hooks and everything ready. And next thing's next. We're going to start crocheting, hopefully. Hey everyone, so I'm all set up, and next is to choose my crochet hook. Usually I try to go with a smaller hook when doing these projects. Today I'm choosing a 2.5 hook because it leaves less holes the smaller the hook. I got this cute pack of hooks from my local dollar store, and they work really good. I've done quite a few projects with them so far. They go from 2mm all the way to 10, which is a great pack, like I said, just from the dollar store, and I've done quite a few projects and enjoy using them so far. So next part is the yarn choices. For this one, I am going to go with the super bright rainbow neon. I did consider doing him all neon green, but that doesn't really fit the super rainbow neon colors, so I'm going to go with it. It'll make him pop and make him, you know, stand out more like he's supposed to. And here's my setup if you're interested. I've got young Indiana Jones on. I got my buddy Dennis here with me, and my yarn, and some jelly beans. So let's get crocheting. Okay, everybody, if this is too loud, I will edit out the background noise or just re-edit the voiceover for this instead. We have, right now, we have my princess having a Play-Doh party, my puppy, and my son's over there. And we have the birds. So yeah, it's a little hectic right now. I'm still watching Indiana Jones. I've got my Dennis here with me, and I'm going to show you what I had this kind of brainstorm because I really like the idea of opening the fridge, but the thing is it would be a lot to crochet it. So what if I felted it? Now I was inspired, the idea came to me because the past, not this weekend, but last weekend, me and my mom went to a felting kind of like class, and we made little pictures like this. It's done on like some felt, a thicker felt, and we did this. Now, a few years ago, well, it's been a little bit, for Christmas, I got a felting set. Now, this is really cool. I will probably make a whole video showing this off. It's a whole set of felting stuff in here. There's all kinds of felts, there's all kinds of tools, and I might just do a video separate from this one to show this whole process. I will leave a link below. I'm not sure, like I said, because I think it'd be too much maybe to show that in this video too, but I'll see how it goes. Now, I don't have the thick, like this thick stuff that she had at the class, so I'm gonna play around and see if I can maybe make it work with doubling this up or something like that. So I'll bring you along the way with me when I do it. So what I'm gonna do is I have the two sides, I have the bottom and the top, and I have the back right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the front probably about 2 stitches wide, and then I will fit the felting in between. Like, I'm gonna cut out the shape, and then of course, and then I'll have to have a one across, like a piece of crochet here. So crochet all around, and then a crochet, and then this would go sew the felted onto the front crochet. So join me as we try to figure this next bit out. this is what I did. I still need to put the bar here, and I haven't attached this yet. So, like I said, I'm gonna see how long the video was of this, and I might do that as a separate video, or I'll add it in here. We'll see. But if not, then let's just keep going. everybody. So this is what I have so far. It's quite cute. Like I said, if the background noise is too loud, I will voice over if I can figure it out. And yeah, so now we're on to making the doors. I'm gonna start with probably the big door. I want to make it 2 doors so they can open it separately. And let's go from there. Like I said, I'm just winging it and seeing what happens. I am debating about the eyes now, because if I do have a piece and I put the eyes in, I'm definitely gonna have to, if I use the backs that come out, you know what I mean, like I'll get a set to show you after, I would have to melt them to make them more flat, or I could use eyes that you glue on. I've even considered doing like maybe a little bit of the felting to put the eyes on, but we're not there yet, so let's just get the doors done and go from there. Bye.